Selena's POV.
What do they mean they don't see her? I can't understand what they try to tell us. My mind is a mess when I hear Kian speak up instead of me. What do you mean you don't see her? Is she going to die? He says, and tears start to prick behind my eyelids. I can't lose her. That's one of the things. We don't see her die, but we don't see her live either. I know this is hard to understand, and we only know whatever he cursed you with. She has taken it all. Your son will live and thrive, but there isn't anywhere we see her. Michael says, and I lean forward and place my head in my hands when I feel Kian rub my back. How could this be, and what curse did he use? I don't understand. How can she be alive and at the same time not? I say after a moment and raise my head and look at them. To me, a person is either dead or alive. You can't be anything in between. We don't know yet, Emma says. We both saw him throw a curse at you before it happened, and I tried to learn you how to block it out, but let me tell you, with the way his curse is, you could never have prevented this from happening. He knew something we do not know about, and if we don't find any notes from him about what kind of curse he used or anyone else knows, we can't remove it. Michael says, and I lean back and turn my head to look at Kian. He looks between them and is in deep thought. What happens now? Kian asks, and I'm not even sure how to go anywhere from here. My mind is a mess right now. I will go to the Witch Council and see what information I can find out. If we can't find anything, we have to wait until they are born, and hopefully no more once we see her, Michael says, and I lean my head at Kian's shoulder and try to wrap my head around all this. I know she will be alive, Emma says, and I look at her. How can you know it if none of you see her? Kian asks before I get a chance to when I place my hand on my stomach. Because we don't see you bury any one of them, Emma says, and it gives me some hope in this darkness in some strange way. But you can't say anything else about her? I say and look between them. No, nothing, Michael says, and I feel how tears prick behind my eyelids and start to fall. If I ever got the chance to kill that man again, I wouldn't hesitate to kill him 100 times over, I say, and feel Kian's arm around my shoulders instead. We will figure it out, he says and squeezes my shoulder. I have a hard time believing in his words right now. Wiping away my tears, we have to keep moving forward, trying to find any clue there is what he did. Pushing my chair back, I get up on my feet when Kian gets up and stops me from walking away. Where are you going? He asks and grabs my arm with his hand. I guess he feels through the bond I'm up to something. I will head over to the rogue camp and try to find any clues to this. Either you come with me or I will go there by myself, I say, and he won't get me to budge from this. I have to do everything there is to try and help our daughter. I won't stop you, but we have to go buy your pack first and let some of the others follow us over, and you need to eat before we leave, he says, and we have a standoff. I want to go right away even if he is right about it. Fine, I say, and hear Emma push her chair back before Kian drops his hold on my arm. I'm following you back to the pack, Emma says, and takes a step away from the table, turning my head and looking at her before starting to walk around the table to where she is standing. I will leave for the council early in the morning. I'll contact you once I know more, Michael says when Kian comes over to where we stand. We will be waiting, Kian says when I open a portal behind us in his kitchen. Emma is the first one to start to walk through, and Kian places his hand around my waist before we start to walk inside, closing it once we are on the other side. Turning my head, I look around and see several bodies of our men laying on the ground, and outside the barrier is a pile of bodies. I sigh at the sight of them all when Kian pulls me close to him. Don't worry about it, we have several of our men to handle the dead, focusing on what we can do instead, he says, and stops me from walking further when he turns me to look at him. We will figure it out. Even if we can't find any clue as to what he did, we will face whatever it is together, he says when I tilt my head up and look at him. I know, I say when he leans down and gives my lips a peck. Now let's get moving, he says when we start to walk. I didn't see the leader of the rogues, he might still be at the camp, I say when we walk closer to the pack house. We meet him on the way over here. We outnumbered them and he fled with the rest of the rogues who were alive. I couldn't follow them, had to get to you right away, and some of Owen's men followed after them for quite a bit before they disappeared. By the look of it, they fled the opposite direction and won't be anywhere near the rogue camp, but in case we need some men to follow, he says when we have reached the pack house door. Opening it, the house smell of food, and my stomach instantly start to rumble. I want to head over there right away. Take some food quickly and get the men ready. I say when we walk inside the hall, reaching the kitchen. Emma is already in place when Jessie is standing and talking to Zoe. You are back, Jessie says and sounds relieved in her voice. Yes, but it's just a quick stop, have to head over to the rogue camp and try to find any clues. I say and head over to the stove where Sari is cooking dinner. I'm coming with you, Jessie says right away, and I'm not surprised. Anyone that wants to follow is welcome, but no one has to, I say and turn my head to look at her when Declan and Cannon come walking inside the kitchen. Where are we going? Declan asks when Sari takes down some plates. I don't wait for her to say it's done and instantly takes a plate and places some food on it. I hear when Kian tell them where we're going when I take a seat and start to eat the hot meal. When everyone is done eating and ready to go, we head out of the kitchen to the lawn outside the pack house. Outside stands an army of people, both vampires and wolves, ready to go. I hope we will find something useful when we get there. Everyone ready, I say and open a portal beside us. Kian grabs my hand and we are the first to walk through the portal. I'm not sure where to go more than the swamp. He held me hostage. From there we can search the woods and find their camp. Coming out the other side, we stand in a field behind the swamp, and when everyone is through I close the portal after us, looking around and trying to figure out in what direction we should go when I hear some running coming to the left. Turning in that direction when Kian takes a step in front of me, ready to fight what's on its way. It sounds like a large group, Kian says, and we all wait for them to show themselves.
Selena's POV.
It has been 2 months since the fight went down. The group of men we met in the woods were another pack trying to find missing pack members. They helped us to find the rogue camp, which were empty, and even with how many days we were there and searched, we didn't find any clues as to what he cursed our children with. Days and nights I have been laying sleepless and worrying about it all. Kian has been a rock through all of this. He has pulled on every sting he has to get some help and solve this, but they all came up empty-handed. Michael told us they will know more once they are born, and a big part of me fears finding out what it is, and at the same time I can't wait. I want to hold them and see them to make sure everything is all right. It took us almost a week to get things settled down after the fight. We got a lot of help from the vampire to swipe the area, and the pack that came running when the fight were about to start I learned was from the pack Kian thought were plotting against the kingdom. It all turned out to be something the rogues had planned, to start a fight between the largest pack and the kingdom. All to make it easier for them to try and take over instead. Here they come. Jessie mind links me and I turn my head to look in her direction, seeing a small group of rogues come barging through the bushes and aiming for her. I blast the 2 rogues away that are trying to get to me. They easily fall to the ground unconscious when I see her fight the other 2 and easily kill them off. We have a lot of stifled anger with everything that happened, and from time to time when we get the opportunity to sneak out and fight with some rogues behind the cave we take it. None of our mates would agree to this if they found out, me being pregnant and doesn't have a long time left before they are born with only Jessie by my side. They would be furious, but Jessie understands the anger I feel about it, and I know she enjoys our sneaking out time together. Seeing her head for the other 2, they are soon out of the picture and she shifts in front of me. Don't you think it's strange there are still some rogues that are coming back here? It's clear that they have moved on to somewhere else, but still, some of them come back, she says when she walks over to where I stand. I have thought about it, and I guess they might be checking out the area if we have dropped the search on it, or they have something here they want to collect. I say what I have been thinking lately. Maybe we should keep one alive and question him instead, she says when I turn to look at her. Do you want to be the one to explain why we have a rogue down in our prison and how we found him to any one of our mates right now? I say and rub my belly when I feel one of them kick me hard in my ribs. We could try and talk to Kenan again. He might have changed his mind, she says, and I chuckle at the thought. You were pretty clear about him not wanting to get involved in our business since he can't lie to our mates. I can assure you he hasn't changed his mind, I tell her when she starts to laugh. Yeah, it didn't go as smoothly last time he tried, she says, and now I laugh with her. Cannon found out after our first trip over here when we tried to sneak back to the palace bloody from meeting some rogues here. He instantly took us to the side and questioned what we were doing. When he tried to cover up for us, he got in trouble himself for not doing what he were supposed to do. After that, we had to promise him to not go out here by ourselves again, while our mates don't have it easy with us. We are probably too independent for our own good from time to time. Well, we have to think of something. I bet we are missing something here if we can't take one and get him to tell us why they keep coming back, she says, and I know she has a point. You are right. We have to figure this out. Maybe it's best to wait until the twins are born, or we might have to involve Zoe and my brother. I say as the only suggestion I can come to think about. Those two almost have grown together as one, and if one of them comes, the other is beside as well. Do you think they go to the toilet by themselves, or are the other ones beside and holding the paper, or what? Jessie says, and I burst out laughing, have to cross my legs to prevent myself from peeing myself. My bladder is not what it used to be. You have to stop, or I'm going to pee myself right now. I say while I try to catch my breath. Yeah, all right. Just wondering for myself, she says and then laughs when I feel Kian reaching out and trying to mind link me. I motion for Jessie to stop. I can't laugh and try to talk to him at the same time. Picking up the link to him. Hi, love. I say through the link and try to act normal, but he doesn't say anything for a long time. What are you up to? He says and sounds suspicious. Nothing. Just talking to Jessie. I say and try to sound convincing. Get here right away! You are supposed to rest! He says in his dominant voice. I just roll my eyes at him. Feeling just fine, and being out here with Jessie only feels good. Be right over. I say and cut the link while I look at Jessie, and she is bloody and but naked. Kian demands us back, and you are naked and bloody. Why can't you take off your clothes before shifting instead of always shredding them? Next time we go out here you start by getting undressed. I say and chuckle when I open a portal behind her and we get in, stepping out on the other side by a lake. She sighs loudly. Why do I have to jump in the cold water? Why couldn't you just portal me home to my shower? She says and I laugh. This is much funnier. I say and tease her when she gets down to the water and jumps inside with a shriek before she is quickly up from the water again. I will remember this, and if you hadn't been pregnant I would have tossed you inside, she says and walks over to where I stand, and I laugh at her. Well, let's go back then, she says, and I open a portal to the hallway in the castle. I try to hold in my laughs from how miserable she looks when we start to walk down the hall. She has to put on some clothes, and I want something to eat. I'm still constantly hungry. Even if I get full fast, I always want to eat. Does any one of you want to explain where you have been and why Jessie is like a drenched cat? We hear someone say and instantly stop in our tracks. We had hoped to sneak inside without anyone seeing her this way.
Selena's POV.
Turning around in the hallway, I take a breath of relief when we find Kenan further down the hall with his arms crossed over his chest. If we were going to run into anyone, I believe he is the best. Nothing. Jessie wanted to take an early bath in the lake, and thought it was funny, so portal us there. I say and try to sound convincing when Jessie chuckles and turns to the side. Well, I'm just going to put on some clothes, meet you in the kitchen after, she says, and quickly takes off down the hallway and to her and Declan's room. Kenan takes long strides to where I stand in the hallway and stops when he is right in front of me. No, you were doing something else, and if I'm going to guess, you two have been somewhere you shouldn't be at all, he says, and looks sternly at me. That might have happened. I'm not saying it did, but if we pretend it did, what are you going to say about it? I question him when he opens his mouth and a door is opened and Emma comes walking out. Oh, there you are. Perfect, it's time for lunch, she says, and walks over to where I stand with Kenan, seeing him close his mouth shut and only look sternly at me when Emma has reached where we are and grabbed my arm. Now Kenan, you take it easy. I told you I would tell you if they would ever get in trouble. Nothing happened, so drop it and come to eat, she says, and starts dragging me with her over to the kitchen. I'm shocked at first, before I start to chuckle at her. You know, I say when we arrive at the kitchen. Of course I do, she just states and drags me with her over to the stove where she starts to take out a form from the oven. It smells delicious and my stomach starts to rumble at the smell. Smells delicious, I say and walk over to the fridge to get my pickles. It's still my cravings and I can't get enough of them. Finding the can, I take it over to the counter and take a seat before opening the lid and taking one out when Jessie comes walking inside the kitchen fully dressed. She heads right over to the counter and takes a seat beside me. Oh, pickles. I got to have one, she says, and steal one from my can before I put them out of her reach from her. I don't share my pickles with anyone. Hearing her moan out loud when she chews it slowly, I hear Emma chuckle and raise an eyebrow at her and wait for the rest to come while I sit back in my seat. "These taste too good," she says, and I believe her words. "That's because you are pregnant," Emma says, and I burst out laughing so pickles pieces come flying out of my mouth, trying to hold it together when there are some quick steps inside the kitchen. "Are we expecting?" I hear Declan say with eagerness in his voice, and turn my head to look where he stands beside Kian. Looking back at Jessie, she just sits there with her pickles sticking out of her mouth with a shocked expression on her face. She looks hilarious, and I can't stop laughing at her when Declan walks over to her and wraps his arms around her. Letting them have some space, I take my can of pickles and walk over to stand beside Kian when he wraps his arms around me and places his hand on my stomach. "It looks like you will have to share your pickles from now on," he says when I take another one and glance over my shoulder. "Or Declan can buy her own stack," I say and start eating mine. Hearing Kian chuckle behind me, he places a kiss on my shoulder and a shiver runs down my body. With all his blood in my system every day to help our daughter, I'm overly sensitive to his touch, and sometimes I almost feel bad for him when I get this need for him. He hasn't complained once during all this time, and he has been amazing through all of this. "I guess I will order pickles by truck from now on," Kian says and chuckles behind me. "Or just wait, she could start craving something else or nothing once it begins," Emma says, and it has Jessie to snap out of her shock. "Please tell me it's just one child," she says, and now I burst out laughing again. "It's just one," Emma says and smiles at her. Seeing Declan turn her around on the chair and drag her up on her feet, I feel overly happy for them. "Then it will finally be over with your small adventures." Cannon burst out when Emma punches him in his chest and he snaps his head to look at her. I feel Kian get tense behind me, and now I have gotten us into trouble. "Yees. Thank you, Cannon," Jessie snaps at him. "What adventures?" Kian says behind me, and I hear in his voice, "We will not be able to talk ourselves out of this." I sigh loudly and look angrily at Cannon when he shrugs his shoulders in defeat before Kian swirls me around and his angry gaze is on me. "Now you better tell me what you two have been up to," he says and crosses his arms over his chest. I can't help but get all hot and bothered when he gets this dominant. I have to place my can down on the table before answering him. My hormones are running havoc in my body from how sexy he looks. Clearing my throat before I give him my answer. "We have been by the rogue camp and blown off some steam from time to time, and now he looks angry at me." "You have what?" "In your state," he says, and I have to take a deep breath when he doesn't make it easier for me. "If they would have gotten into any problem, I would have told you before, Kian," Emma says and tries to calm him down. "No, it doesn't help," he says, and I roll my eyes at him. "If there had been any trouble, we would have portaled right back," I say, and he shakes his head. "You're telling me you have been over there and not run into any trouble at all," he says and looks sternly between me and Jessie. "No. Just some rogues here, and they're nothing special," I say and shrug my shoulders when Jessie swallows a chuckle. "Just some rogues, you say? Will you ever calm down?" he says, and I look at him for a long moment. "Probably not," I say in response when Declan speaks up. "You won't be going anywhere without me from now on, and that's enough shifting and fighting for you," he says, and I hear Jessie starts to protest before she gets silent, and I know she understands she can't shift more until the child is born. "Damn it!" she says, and I smile at her when I remember what we talked about out by the cave. "Now that you know, I have something I want to talk to you about," I say and look back at Kian. He doesn't answer, only keeps his gaze on me. "We have a theory they are searching for something by the cave. Because small groups keep coming there, and we want to capture one to interrogate," I say, seeing him sigh and drag a hand through his hair, something he often does when he is upset. "I will go there myself and capture everyone we find if you can promise me to stop this and stay at home instead. At least until our children are born," he says and wraps his arms around me. "I only want to make sure there isn't anything important we are missing that can help our baby when she is born," I tell him to his shoulder when he holds me tight. "We can leave right after dinner," he says and place a kiss on my cheek before he captures my lips with his. "Then we will all go," Emma says, and she isn't allowed to ever go anywhere with us. Breaking the kiss, I turn my head to look at her. I want to try something, she says, and I raise an eyebrow at her. Whatever does she want to try?
Selena's POV.
Stepping out of the portal, everyone is here with us when Kian walks up behind me and pulls me back against him. We are in no way done talking about this. We will continue when we are alone in our chambers, he says next to my ear in a husky voice, and I'm too stunned to speak. Through the dinner he acted all natural, and I thought he had dropped it. Hearing him chuckle beside me, he knows exactly how I react to him when he teases me this way. Clearing my throat, I hear Emma chuckle beside me and turn to look at her. What is it? I ask when she just starts moving in the direction of the cave. Nothing, she says, and continues laughing when Kenan walks up behind her and the rest of us walk after them. She hasn't been here before, but she knows the way to the rogue camp as if she has been here often. How do you know the way, Emma? I ask her from behind when she stops and turns towards me. I have seen him through my vision when he walks here over and over again, but when we come closer he always disappears. It has me thinking he has placed something in the camp. We just need to find it, she says, and turns back and starts walking again. We follow after her in silence for a bit until we come closer to their old camp and stop just before we reach it. Why do you think you will see anything different when you are here? I have to ask her when she walks over and grabs my hand in hers before she pulls me with her a bit closer. Because you are here, and he left his trace on you when he cursed you and your daughter. I will try and connect to it and see if something will reveal itself when we are here, she says, and it somehow makes sense. She closes her eyes for a long time before she opens them again, and this time her eyes are completely white. No one says a word and gives her the time she needs to maybe find anything. After a long moment, I hear her gasp before she starts to look around and drop my hand when she slowly walks around in the camp. I follow after her and keep a distance from her when she stops at the side of the cave. She starts to trace her hand over the wall when she reaches up and grabs something from an opening in the wall. I'm shocked when she slowly turns around with a book in her hands. I don't dare to say anything before she opens her mouth first. I feel a glimmer of hope this could be the thing we need and have been searching for. This is it, she says, and lifts her eyes from the book and looks at me. Her usual eyes are there instead, and I feel like my feet are stuck in the ground. Will there be any answer inside the book that can help our daughter? What is it? Declan asks and takes a step closer when I see her open the book and start to turn the pages while she is silent. I think everyone is holding their breaths and waiting for her to say something. There is no doubt this is his book. I have to take it over to Michael's if we are going to solve this. Too complex for me to figure it out, she says, and lifts her head to look at me. I can portal us there, I say when she looks over at Cannon. It's better if you only portal me there for a couple of hours and I will be back before dinner. I have a feeling it will take Michael some time if he even can solve this, she says, and it makes sense it will take some time even if I wish the answer would be easy to find. All right, I will portal you right away, I say when Kian walks up behind me and wraps his arms around my body. I see Emma and Cannon talk for a short moment when she points in one direction before she turns her head back and looks at me. Some rogues are coming soon, I'm ready to go, she says, and I open a portal and see her quickly get inside and I close it after her. It's better if you take Jessie with you and go back home. I will mind Link when we are done here, Kian says, and there is no way I will leave them here to fight for themselves. I'm not going, I say in protest and turn around to look at him. I have been out here several times a week and we have never run into any problem we haven't been able to take out. No way I'm going either, Jessie protests out loud when we hear some running from the right. You stay here and do not shift, Declan says to Jessie in a dominant voice when she rolls her eyes in response. Haven't thought about it, but she can't shift either. This is going to be a very long couple of months for her, chuckle to myself when she snaps her head in my direction before she walks over to where I am. Is this how it's going to be from now on? Only standing to the side and watching from a distance, she whines, and I shake my head at her. Promise the time will go fast, and before you know it the child is born and you can shift again, I say when they take off through some bushes and the fight starts. I'm ready to defend us if anyone comes through, but it suddenly goes quiet. What just happened? Jessie says, and we both keep our eyes on where they went. When I'm alone and fight with Jessie, she never leaves my side, and that way I can have full control if anything goes wrong. I don't like the feeling of this, but I know none of them is hurt. Jessie takes a step closer to where they went and I grab her arm with my hand to stop her from walking further. You can't shift and fight, none of them are hurt. We have to wait a bit. I say when she takes a step back again and sighs.
This is ridiculous,
she says when there are some running behind us and we both swirl around when suddenly 3 rogues come barging through the trees and head right for us.
Selena's POV.
They don't get to come too close before I blast them unconscious and Jesse rushes over to them to make sure they are out. I suggest we take them as prisoners and try to get as much information out of them as we can. They have to know where the new rogue camp is. Jesse says when one of them starts to move a bit on the ground, she kicks him in his head and he falls back unconscious to the ground.
Maybe we should start to look for where they went instead,
I say when we hear some running before they come barging through the trees and halt in their track before shifting. Kian looks between us and down at the men on the ground. He shakes his head.
Well, you two can certainly take care of yourselves,
Cannon says and walks past the others before he squats down and looks closer at the rogues. They are only unconscious, I say when he rises again. I suggest we take these, and if anyone else of the others is alive, we bring them with us to interrogate, he says and turns to look at the others.
Where did you go exactly?
Thought you were here to protect your defenseless mate, Jessie says, and places her hands on her hips. I chuckle beside her from the way she looks at Declan. He will not have it easy with her. I didn't say you were defenseless, only want you safe, he says, and walks over to her and tries to get on her good side again. Well, maybe we should head back instead and bring them with us, I say when Cannon shifts and takes off where they went. Kian shift and run after him while we stand and guard the rogues. It takes a moment before they come back and carry one unconscious man. Opening a portal beside us, Declan starts to drag one of the rogues before he comes back to help take the other one. It doesn't take long before we have got everyone inside the portal and I close it after us when we stand inside the castle prison. This is going to drive me nuts, Jessie says beside me, and I turn to look at her before grabbing her arm and pulling her with me outside instead. We have a lot of things to handle with the pack that doesn't require that you shift, and you might want to start fixing a nursery. Maybe we should have 2 rooms set up in the pack house as well, I say out loud. We are going to be at both places from time to time. I'm not ready for this yet. Can't we wait until I know for sure? She says, and I know exactly how she feels about it. Of course. I felt the same way, even if we both know Emma is right, I say, and starts to pull her with me over to the castle. Yes, I know, she says and sighs when we reach the stairs. What do we do now? She says, and pushes the front door open.
How about we make a good dinner and dessert for us? I have a few things I crave for right now,
I tell her, and we start to head down to the kitchen. We get a few hours inside alone and fix dinner. I have to sit down from time to time when my back starts to hurt. It's heavy with the twins, but today the pain is worse than it has been before. Hearing some footsteps when Kian comes walking inside and smells newly showered. He sees me sitting on a chair by the counter and leaning forward when he comes over and start to massage my back. Are you in more pain today? He asks while I close my eyes and feel better with his hands on my back. Right now, it's the worst it has ever been, I say and take a deep breath. Do you want me to get the doctor? He says while he keeps massaging my back.
No, it's fine. I will lie down after dinner. It's almost ready, and we did a chocolate cake for dessert,
I say and look at Jessie when she starts to take down plates when Declan walks inside. Stay in your seat, I got this, Jessie says when Declan takes the plates from her and walks over to set the table. It feels like I get stabbed in my back and I hold my breath for a moment. What's wrong? Kian asks and places a hand on my shoulder. Just pain in my back, I say when I see Jessie brings the food to the table and Cannon walks inside the kitchen. I talk to Emma and she is ready in 15 minutes to come back, he says, and I give him a nod when Kian wraps his arm around my waist and starts to pull me with him over to the dining table. Taking a seat when pain shoots out from my back once again. I think it's best if I get the doctor here right now, he says when he sits down beside me. No, I want to eat first and then lay down on the bed. I will probably feel better after, I say to him and pick up the water and pour it into my glass before taking several mouths of the water. All right, I will get him over if you don't feel better after you have eaten. It's better to have him check up on you on extra time just to make sure everything is fine, he says and starts to place food on my plate while I sip on my water and try to wait out the next wave of pain in my back. I try to eat as much as I can and chew slowly so Kian won't notice when the pain comes and goes. It's nothing too painful, but it lasts for a few seconds at a time. Are you not hungry? Jessie says when I swallow what I've got in my mouth before answering.
I ate several pickles while we made the dinner.
I did eat a bunch as usual, but I've got a hard time getting the food down right now. I don't know why, it's just like I'm full but still hungry. Feeling Emma trying to mind link me, I pick it up. I'm ready to go back, she says when I have picked up the link.
All right,
I say and cut the link before opening a portal. She comes walking out with a box in her hand and places it down on the counter. Closing the portal, I see her open the box and pick out a bottle. I already know it's a potion inside, and I wonder what it's for when she turns around and starts walking over to where I sit.
Here, drink this,
she says, and I take the bottle from her hand and swallow the liquid before handing it back to her.
What's it for?
I say, and what the potion down with some water. For the pain. Your labor has started and your babies will soon be here.